we're going to win. And we're going to win a championship. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Thank you guys so much for joining us on another wonderful Wednesday evening. As you guys know, it's your girl Craving Cowboys, and as always, I got my girl Star in the building. How you doing tonight, sis?
Doing good, doing good. What's up, everybody? Y'all know it's great, and we're glad to get together for another episode of Starchasers Girls Talk Ball. Got some exciting stuff to talk about today. The 53 man rosters officially out, and we pretty much have built out our practice squad. So we're gonna talk about that today and give our thoughts.
Yes.
But y'all know before you come in to please before we get started, please like the video. Please share. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. And as it says down there on the screen, and also please comment below. We really do like you guys' comments live. But if you're also watching on the playback, please comment on the video. We try our best to interact with you guys, and to we like hearing your feedback. And sometimes I like reading my comments, because sometimes you guys give me thoughts or tell me things that I didn't know or whatever.
Yeah.
So please interact with us. We'd really appreciate it. But be sure to hit that like button.
Yes, just like Sis was saying, make sure you guys hit like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for joining us. And before we get started with, as we know, this past week, the Cowboys have had practices. They had the final preseason game, and you had the final, of course, the roster cuts that were, the deadline was yesterday, I believe, 3:00. And like Sis saying, had the 53 man roster release, and now with the practice squad building back up with some familiar faces as we see coming back to the Cowboys. Definitely excited about some of those names as we kind of dive into it. But like I said, I wanted to give just a very special shout out to my girl Star. Last week, I'm sure you guys saw her turning up. She went to the practice last week, breaking down the Frisco practice with Law, Dallas Cowboys Sports, Lou Takes, just really turning up down there and really giving some fine information. I also watched your video, Star, offense versus defense, and just great video work, just great great quality video. You can see the players, see the numbers, so it's really very easy to follow. And I know final 53 man's already been released, but if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you please check that out, because it's different. We get the reports from from the Cowboys writers. We see clips and videos on Twitter, things like that. But sometimes we able to see the in-depth, video, actually detailed video, see these players and seeing the practice. Sometimes we don't always get what we want out of the preseason games because we do have, the second and third squads. But seeing the practice, like Star said in the video, is definitely a different energy out there. As you guys can see, some plays are being made. The play calling is different in practice as much as, and that kind of opened my eyes too. Like, seeing your videos, seeing videos from Law Nation, seeing Lou Taylor, he also posted the videos too, just seeing the energy that you guys are talking about. You like you said, it was definitely palpable. You could feel it, you could see it, with the players. And just like I said, just watching that video and just the other examples out there, you're actually able to actually really see that, this team really could, go somewhere. We may have been, at least I'll speak for me, fooled by the preseason games and maybe upset with some of the play calling. But me watching the third preseason game and watching some of the videos, just getting some look at the first team, I'm excited. I'm a little bit more excited with maybe the direction this team could go. So thank you for that, sis. Thank you to the greats, the GOATs of the Cowboys Nation, the community, and just really appreciate that breakdown from you guys last week.
I appreciate that, sis. Yeah, it was a time. We had a great time last week, like you said, with my guy Lou and Boss and Law. Always great. And ended up meeting one of my subscribers. Shout out to you, Oak Cliff Rockefeller.
Nice.
I really appreciate he came straight up to me, and that was shocking because I'm like, I never had nobody come up to me like,
awesome.
Right. So that was great. So shout out to him. But yeah, we had a great time. I really appreciate those verses, and I try my best, when I go every year. Shout out to Lou because he reminded me, because I ain't gonna lie, guys, I forgot to clear my schedule for the practices, and he was just like, Star, you coming? And I'm like, oh shoot, today is a practice. So I ended up just clearing things, and y'all, I made it happen. I had to go straight from work to the practice, which was like an hour away, because y'all know Frisco is far as hell. So, well, if you live where I live, which is, I live in South Dallas area. So yeah, so I had to drive a whole hour up. Actually, I was driving from Kaufman because I was at a hearing. But yeah, we had a great time. I'm glad that y'all, seemed like a lot of people enjoyed, not just you, sis, but a lot of people enjoyed that video. Got a lot of views on it. So
yeah,
thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all's support. And I'm gonna continue to, put out every year I go, I'm gonna do my best to put out footage and stuff like that, because I know that's what you guys want to see. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm going to not only collab with my content brothers and sisters, but also to put out footage so people can make their own conclusions and ideas on who should make the roster, how are things looking, the energy at practice and everything. Because you can be told something, but it's different when you can actually see it live and in action. So yeah.
Yes, facts. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, sis. So yeah, as we, kind of get into it, talking about the 53-man roster, we saw, I'm actually trying to bring up on Twitter. I actually have John Machoda. He has a Dallas Cowboys roster moves, but I'm gonna see if, I don't know if you have a bookmark. I forgot the bookmark, sis, but the actual 53-man roster as it was released. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I can bring it. Sorry.
All right, y'all. So just in the meantime, while we do try to find the 53-man roster, I do have John Machoda's tweet, and as he has the actual roster moves that the Cowboys have made, the players who have been released, those players who were waived, traded, awesome. I didn't expect that, just kind of starting off with that, sis. Just awesome going to the Saints. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't even think that.
I know, sis, you saying I was like, dang, sis, damn about awesome. She was like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I had to tweet about it. I mean, just seeing, because we talk about in the past weeks, of course, about our younger offensive linemen developing, and to actually see the progression of Austin Richards, and even Nathan Thomas, Johnny Cornelius, guys like that. But Austin Richards has been here for years. And, there was the time we wasn't sure, he was kind of quiet, placed on the back burner, wasn't even sure if he was progressing. We really didn't hear a lot about him. And now it just seems like, we've seen his progression in practice, seeing him playing in a few, preseason games, getting some reps out there. And just, it's like, it's almost as soon as you kind of see, maybe, I don't want to say the peak, but maybe some of the, some of the more, a little bit more of the flash maybe that we could look forward to, some of the mauling, some of the getting to the next level, you end up going to the Saints. And it makes me wonder if, Shadi kind of spoke about it in his presser, saying, the Saints kind of had their eye on him. So I'm wondering if it was like the organization, the coaching staff, or it was like a Kellen Moore thing, and maybe he had his eye on Awesome from maybe his time here, or maybe just over time being in different organizations, and maybe just Awesome Richards maybe just kind of kept it ringing in his ear. But I was definitely shocked. Number one, I didn't expect him to be traded because it was no slight to Awesome. I'm not saying I didn't think he had any value, but I didn't think that he would be a player that we would trade. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we traded him for like a 6th-round pick in 2028, right. So we didn't really trade him. We didn't trade him for much. We didn't trade him for much.
Definitely true. But and hopefully we'll be able to get go there and maybe progress some more. Maybe he is familiar with Kellen Moore, but that was definitely one of the one of the first pieces of news I was actually kind of shocked about.
Yeah, I think that when it came to Awesome, I mean, I was shocked too because I mean they hadn't talked about anybody or about the front office, wanting to deal any players or anything like that. So I was shocked to see that. Now, when I saw the compensation, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it. It's better to get something than nothing. But I feel like we couldn't have got a 2026 6th-round pick. Correct. Why are we trading 2028 picks? Like, that don't even really make sense. But that's the initial 53 man. But yeah, I was like, why are we trading 2028 picks? But yeah, when it came down to Awesome, I mean, when you look at our old line room, I mean, we are stacked at offensive line. We probably have one of the deepest offensive line rooms in the league. I was thinking about it today when on my drive for a hearing I had, and I was like, bro, we may be the only offensive line room where pretty much almost our whole line is either all pro, or almost our whole starting line is either all pro potential, either all pro already or all pro potential or Pro Bowl potential, or just a really high end above average starter. And then we have depth that's the same. Like, we have depth pieces that they are plug and play depth pieces. You can insert them in your offense and not miss a beat. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it was hard for somebody like Awesome Richards to make it because when you look at it, you got Brock Hoffman, you got TJ Bass, which are great interior players, and I'm not saying they Pro Bowl level, but hell, I mean, Tyler Biotis got a Pro Bowl level, a Pro Bowl, right. And I see TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman pretty much in that same place. So, I mean, TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman can be starting for any team in this league. They could be starting and be not just serviceable, like really good. You know what I'm saying?
And then the development. I mean, even McGovern over on the Bills. I mean, he's still rocking with the Bills. I'm so surprised to see McGovern over there.
Exactly, he's still over there because that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I would consider the Dallas Cowboys O-line university because we do produce, we do draft good O-line, and we develop them. Even when you look at like outside free agents. Like a Rob Jones. People were shitting on Rob Jones until they started getting the film room and they were like, dang, Rob Jones actually good. Damn. We thought Sadiq Charles was a throwaway. We thought Hakeem Adeniji was a throwaway, which both of those are vets, so we ended up cutting them just to make room, but they're back on our practice squad. And it's like, when you look at players like this, it's like we really know how to. There's one position we know how to evaluate is offensive line. So when you look at this list, like Johnny Cornelius, he was one of the only offensive linemen in the entire preseason that didn't give up a pressure. Then you have Nate Thomas, who we are all shocked at how Nate Thomas looks and how, I mean, we did not expect Nate Thomas to be plug and play. And if you remember last year when we drafted him, they said he was going to be a guard. He was going to be a right side player and he was going to be a guard. We've moved him to left tackle.
So and he's moving like he's been there for I don't say years, but I mean at least a couple off seasons. Right,
he looks very, very comfortable at that position, which is crazy because nobody expected that. And then you have, and so those are pretty much our backups that made it: Bass, Hoffman, Cornelius, and Thomas. And then you have our starters. So it was going to be very hard pressed for Awesome to make it because he was looking like he was going to be our left tackle last year. But then when we saw how Nate came in, it was like, we really don't have a position for you because now we got Nate that can be swing, and you got our Johnny Cornelius, who maybe could swing, and
Yeah.
got higher upside. We just drafted him compared to Austin Richards, who's been with us since 2022 or 2023.
Yeah,
So he's been here.
yeah.
He's been here with us for a while. So I'm glad that we got some value, and hopefully the Saints actually play him. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that he's
Right.
a good player, especially a player that he did take that second year jump last year, and he
Yeah.
has some struggles like up and down. But I think he just needs to truly find his position, which I don't know if he's necessarily found that, but hopefully the Saints can tap into it like they did with Connor McGovern. We had Connor McGovern playing left guard the whole time he was here.
Talk
That is
about
not
talk about it.
his position. His position is a center or right guard, and now he's a center. And not only he's a center, he's a Pro Bowl center. So,
Max.
we love playing people out of position. So hopefully, Awesome over there with the Saints can actually find him a home over there. Hopefully.
Yeah, I definitely agree with pretty much everything you just said, sis. I mean, just speaking, like you said, speaking about the backup guy, just in general, like I'm really surprised about how Hoffman and Bass have progressed even more. Like you see them another year within a similar scheme. I know McCarthy isn't here anymore, but Shoddy, I know a new scheme bringing a new offensive line coach, but I really feel like not just the starters, not just the second team, not just the third team. But I know they do like a lot of musical chairs with the preseason games and the practices and things like that. But this is one of the first times I've seen almost each level kind of operate, all together. Like they say, 5 is 1. We see almost each person individually progress. Even the guys who were cut. Like you spoke about Austin Richards, even the vets, Sadiq Charles. Energy that they felt they needed, possibly to bring these guys back, maybe for a deep season run, or when you just kind of need some extra bodies in there, you guys may get nicked up, knock on wood, hopefully not, but it's great to have solid depth. And I at least for me, I look at Bass and Hoffman as kind of like big brother, little brother, or vice versa. But they definitely play with a lot of toughness. They they kind of play in sync with one another. And then like you spoke about earlier, speaking about Nate Thomas, seeing him just come in and really just, like you said, being plug and play and just really being comfortable. The coaching staff felt it was well enough to be able to trust him and for him to take that on his shoulders and really just be like, hey, because I know, he doesn't really, hasn't done a lot of interviews before and since we saw I think the one time he did speak with the media, but even he was just like, look, I just, I'm blessed to have that opportunity and I'm going to make the most of, whatever snaps I am able to get. So just to see him kind of take advantage of, what could have been a little opportunity, could have just been practice opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The whole talk about Guyton the whole offseason, when he's going to be ready, you know what I'm saying? And then even also Richards kind of getting slid in there as far as competition, but seeing him come, pretty much come out on top with that starting position, at least for right now, until Guyton is able to come back. I'm definitely proud of a player who I think we're asking last season, where is this guy? What are they going to do with this guy for him to be so quiet, to make this kind of progression? It definitely impressed me. And just kind of speaking on the starters, as we already know, Tyler Smith, Steele, Booker, Beebe, the whole line. I just love that, these guys are kind of taking these, not necessarily all younger guys, but these younger guys under their wing and just letting them be known the goal of the entire room. We see Tyler Smith stepped up into the leadership position, really seamlessly. But, we've seen all the guys. Hoffman, who always, finds himself connected with the guys. I think I even saw a clip of, I think it was like the last practice before, I think the last preseason game. And you could kind of see either the last practice before or after, and you could see Hoffman kind of giving his pads to Tyler Booker, kind of as like a rookie thing, having him carry his pads, but you can kind of see it was kind of like a brotherly, lovingly, hey, for the last time, go ahead and carry my pads. So it's just like, even Hoffman, we talk about his attitude on the field, but just seeing him, take a leadership role and really in his own, I'm proud to see that too. So just in general, seeing progression in the entire room. I think that speaks to the coaching staff that they brought in, and also just the players as well, taking on the challenge of wanting to be better, wanting to earn the trust of the coaching staff, and then to really progress all as one unit, but also individually. I think that speaks volumes about the guys in the room and also the coaching staff.
I agree with that. I agree with it. Everything you said. I do think that we have a good room of young leaders, because Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele, Hoffman, those are all still young players, so young leaders that can lead these guys. And I'm glad, there's no ego, because, Tyler Booker, he's a first round pick.
Correct.
Bass and Hoffman are undrafted free agents. You know what I'm saying? So, he very well could be like, I ain't holding your pads, like, boy, like,
you feel what I'm saying?
I'm better than you, but I'm glad that he still has that respect. And even though we ended up cutting Lyle Collins, like even them listening to Lyle and like still like taking in his wisdom. Even when we saw him in
Yes.
camp before he went down, Booker taking tips from Rob Jones. So it's like
Yep.
I'm glad that we have the right type of young folks or young
Yeah.
players who still realize like I have a lot to learn. Yes, I have the talent. Yes, I have the higher upside than this guy. This guy's
Mm-hmm.
peaked. I barely scratched the surface, but just knowing that I still have something to learn. I still have something to gain. I always think about
Right.
how the playmaker, he told that story about how there was a wide receiver on the roster, and he was washed. You know what I'm saying? He was washed at the time, but he was like, hey, that guy taught me everything I know. So it's crazy, like you can learn a lot because some people just may not have as much talent as you, right?
Yeah.
Bass may not have as much talent as Booker. Hoffman may not have as much talent as Booker, but they do have the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They
Yes.
can help
Yes.
you, and they have played in actual NFL games, which is something that Booker has not done. So
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah. Go ahead.
just to add one more point, I'm glad the Cowboys also decided to hold on to some bets too, because just a couple years ago we saw when they brought in Jason Peters. You know what I'm saying? At least for me, it shocked me even a year after that Peters was removed from the roster. Tyler Smith was still kind of harkening back to when the time when he was there teaching the things that he knew. So I just like that they grab at every opportunity that they have to, like you said, gain wisdom and also gain the experience. Because you said these guys may not be as I guess highly valued, if you will. But like you said, they have the wisdom. Hoffman has played the snaps with the Cowboys bass as well. These guys have been in those moments, so to be able to pass that on to the young guys, and also to be able to play together, they can also not only teach them, but also at the same time, get at them while they're on the field, get at them while they're on the sideline, so they can kind of learn and go, at the same time. Too, I think it's great.
Facts. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Dak owns Filthy. My guy Kelvin.
Yeah,
Uh Angry Cowboys fan is in here. Shout out to Angry Cowboys
facts.
fan. Y'all know he is a great content creator. So y'all know, please go give him a like, share, and subscribe on his channel. And then
Yeah.
also my guy DJ 100 Grand. Really appreciate you, 100 Grand, for being in here rocking with us. And also my girl Angie. I was just thinking about you, Angie. I was like, dang, Angie ain't been in our chat in a while. I'm like, I hope she, everything's okay. So clearly the universe, the God, if you don't believe in the universe, God, the universe, God,
Yeah.
clearly they hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hurt me and put Angie in our chat. So I really appreciate that, Angie. Thank you so much for your support. It's so many people. I don't know why everybody is trying to steal our show time, but Starchasers Girls Talk About had this day and
I
time, but
thought
now
I
everybody is
I thought
going
it was me,
live at
sis.
this time. I don't
I thought
know
it was
what's
me.
going on. I'm like, why is everybody just randomly going live today at this time? So I'm like,
Facts.
so I know it's gonna be like stragglers and stuff coming in the chat because people are divided between
Yeah.
everybody going freaking live. But anyway, it is what it is. But thank you for
Yeah.
those who say we're gonna be in here supporting us. I really appreciate that. Thank y'all.
Yes, that's facts. It's just like you said, I just thought, I thought it was just me thinking like all of a sudden, no one was going live on Wednesday. Wasn't it? Wednesday wasn't
Right.
even
No one
you know what I'm
was
saying?
going
Like
live on Wednesdays. Now everybody is going live on Wednesdays.
yes.
Ironically, just when we're going live. So that's great. But
Facts.
anyway, it is what
Facts.
it is. But
But yeah, we can you still want to stay on the opposite side, we can move to the receivers. You
yeah,
got it.
let's just go down the list. I mean, we
All right,
can.
bet.
That's what this show's about. We're gonna look at the 53 and react to that and give our thoughts on that, and then move on. Move to the practice squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
angry. We do too. I mean, we chose this time because not a lot of people was ever going live, and I guess
Right.
people have
Yeah, we
moved.
chose our respective other shows that were happening during the week, so we figured there was nobody on Wednesdays. You know what I'm
Right
saying? So
now,
I
everybody going
understand.
live, but it is what it is. I know everybody out here just trying to make it, trying to get their content out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, we gonna keep our show time because this is the best time for us, and
Yeah.
we just hope there's enough subs to go around. Right? There's enough subs,
Yep.
And we know our loyal people will be here regardless. So thank y'all so much. Like, Stephen White just came in. How you doing,
A
Stephen? Thank
fact.
y'all. Thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody's support. But yeah, we can definitely go down the list of just reactions. If there's any
Yeah.
shocks, and y'all can let us know in the chat. I did put um a prompt up saying who was y'all's most surprising cut, so y'all can let us know in the chat, like, who was your most surprising cut. What do you think about the 53-man roster? Who are you most excited that made it, that you didn't think would make it? Please let us know down below in the live comments, or if you're watching on the playback, please let us know in the comments, to the answer to those questions, you guys' thoughts. But yeah, we go down the roster.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, we already we already talked about we haven't talked about the quarterbacks, but we know Dak Prescott, Joe Milton. I figured that would be as much, but we did see, not to get too far ahead, but we did see that they brought Will Greer back to the practice squad. So
Yes, they
I'm
did
shocked
bring.
at that. I'm not sure if it's trying to please Joe or trying to please Will because they don't want to hurt feelings. But I mean, we didn't have two quarterbacks. At least I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't have three quarterbacks. I mean, on the roster. But I mean,
No,
or
we
did
did. We had
we
we had
did.
three last year. Remember, because we had Dak, Trey, and,
Trey and
and Cooper
Cooper.
Rush.
We did. So I wonder. I mean, I wonder if they
But
go
we
battle
had
out who's
them
going to
three on
be.
the active roster. This year, we're only carrying
Oh,
two
okay.
on the active roster, and I guess we'll just have Will Greer. He'll be our emergency
Quarterback.
quarterback pretty much every
Yeah.
game.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. And then we can go to the running backs. I'm not gonna lie. At least for me, like my first reaction to that room is I didn't expect them to keep both veterans. I thought it was going to be either or. I don't know if I said it earlier on one of our shows, but I just thought it was going to be one veteran, one young guy, and they were trying to decide between Licky and Deuce, or maybe
But
possibly
hold on. What
both.
you think about with Milton? Because when I listened to Shotty's press conference, he sound like he's too confident in Milton.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, because it when I look at Shotty and I observe his body language and everything,
Yeah.
like before preseason, when Shotty talked about Milton, his eyes almost like lit up, and he had these crazy comparisons. He's got an arm like Brett Favre. I never seen nobody throw the ball like that
True.
since Brett Favre. And he compared him to Josh Allen when you have a big, strong arm, like all
Yeah.
this stuff. He was just hyping Milton to hell. He was hyping him up like just the best thing. But then
Yeah.
it was like after preseason, you started seeing his tune change. You started seeing him
Yeah.
be like less excited about Milton, and I thought he did some good things. I thought
Yeah.
he eventually settled down and all of this type of stuff, but it just didn't seem great. And then they
Right.
were like, so they asked him like, so you're confident in Milton, and he's like, yeah, we're confident. If you're on the roster, that means we're confident, but. We're still looking. We're looking out there for
Yeah.
opportunities and things like that, which makes me think, like, I think preseason put a bad taste in Shotty mouth on Joe Milton, and I really think that he
Yeah.
feels like if that go down, I'm not I'm
Right.
not really too confident that Joe Milton can even just not lose us games. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so what you think about? What did you think about what his response when it came to Joe Milton?
I'm actually kind of surprised because I'm surprised at his tone. Because like you said, like he switched
Right.
it up, but I thought it would have been earlier. I thought because even earlier in the preseason, he kept saying, "Well, I don't have to decide that now. I don't have to pick, QB2 right now. I have to make the decisions right now." But like you said, even this past pressure, he was just like, yeah, he settled in, but like you said, he didn't have that full confidence in him. I thought
Right.
that after this game, he would have been like. Had that attitude before, like, yeah, Joe Milton, with him playing a little bit better, with him, landing his throws, with him, handling, at least in my opinion, handling the ball well, handling his throws well. I thought Shawty would have had a more of a positive attitude, but for him to still be like, hey, we have it for right now, but we can still be looking for some help in that room. I'm surprised to hear that. I'm surprised to hear that after him improving, at least in my opinion, in the third preseason game. I thought Shawty would have had just a little bit more confidence, but. I mean, maybe maybe it was reality for him. Maybe, it was a wake up call for him. Like, hey, this guy has only played, one true, a true NFL game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this guy couldn't develop as quick as we thought, or maybe as quick as I thought. Maybe he thought that he could have been further along, or maybe he thought that maybe he would learn more. But I mean, going off two of the first preseason games, I mean, even if you go off maybe the 1.5, even at least in my opinion, the second preseason game, halftime should have been Joe Milton's time up and say, "Hey, let's go, get Greer in here,
Right, let's get Greer. Right, right. Let's get Greer in here. But it's like they never. Yeah. You didn't really let Will Greer play till what? The last quarter of the third preseason game. So it's like we never, and they kept saying, "Oh, we know what Will Greer is. We know what Will Greer is," and it's like.
And then he was making some slip ups in the third preseason game. I'm like, now see, he missing throws, and then he got kind of gimpy a little because he took a hit. I'm like, right, now y'all waiting. Now
right,
what's happening.
Right, but it's like y'all should have been giving them. It should always have been, Joe, you gonna get the first half. Will you'll get the second half, and we're gonna make our evaluations. But y'all sit there and say, no, we're gonna keep giving Joe. And maybe it wasn't shoddy because we know Jerry Jones does love to meddle. So maybe it was. Jerry and them saying, no, we want Joe to play. We want Joe to play. But it really does feel like I agree with what Angry said. Preseason shows shoddy that Joe needs more work than let on. And I think, a lot of people believe, once and even, he did look better in the Falcons game. He looked more settled and stuff like that. But you got to know, like, one, it's the Falcons game. Two, it's the third, preseason game. So people really wasn't playing. A lot of people already had their teams picked at that point. So it's just like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, how much to really weigh toward that, but it does seem like they might try to bring someone else in, but of course, you're gonna have to just rock out with Joe at this point because regardless of how he looks, at least for a while, because even if you bring in another quarterback, you're gonna have to he gonna have to have time to learn the playbook, learn everything. Like he's gonna need time to get ramped up to even be able to get on the field and do anything. So.
Right.
That's pretty much where it is. So I wasn't shocked to see Joe as QB2, but I was more so shocked to see how Shoddy's tune has just changed on him. Like he just flipped the script on him. Like, but we can move on to the running backs. You gave your thought. Were you finished giving your thought, or you want to keep going?
No, I was just gonna say I was surprised that they did. And just one last note on Joe. I think like Angry said, I think Shoddy had to learn because he said he had to learn how to coach Joe. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't really spent as far as like real game time with he have to be able to communicate with the quarterback, make sure he's able to communicate with the line, communicate with the huddle. So it's really going to be an ongoing process. Maybe like Angry said, maybe Shoddy thought he could get it done in a few preseason games, but it takes a lot longer than that to be able to develop a quarterback who's only played one NFL game.
He's only played one NFL game. That's right. Like he was very raw, and I just wish that we need to. Like, can this not be a lesson that's like, let's just start treating quarterback twos just as they are. Quarterback twos. Backup quarterbacks. If we could stop hyping up backup quarterbacks because we hate Dak so much, that would make things better. And then we wouldn't go into all of this, have all of this hype or angst or whatever about this player when you just see them for what they are. They are a backup. Doesn't mean that they can't work their way up because there's the Geno Smiths of the world where they go from backup to starter. It can happen. It can happen. I'm not saying that it can't happen for Joe. I'm just saying that, where we're at right now, Joe is just, he's not ready. He's got to grow. He's got to develop. I feel bad for these quarterbacks now because, people are just expecting them to come in and know how to play. Like they just expect you come in, know how to play. And if you can't get it together within a year or two, they're out. And I do hate that.
And then they get that narrative to attach to them.
Right. And I hate that because it's like you're not really letting players like sit and develop and learn. You kind of just want them to get out there and play. And it's just really a disservice when you look at how these quarterbacks have been drafted over the past few years. none of them have really panned out. You know what I'm saying? Beside, or the ones who have panned out, you're shocked. You see somebody like Anthony Richardson. He's benched.
Correct. Oh,
He's benched for
sorry.
Daniel Jones. Then you see Shadur. Shadur is quarterback 3 behind Dylan Gabriel. They got Joe Flacco. Then I heard today Ben Johnson don't like Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Johnson's about to try to replace him. Then
that's what I thought about Steichen. I feel like Steichen didn't like Richardson, and that's why I feel like he was like,
and that happens.
Cool giving Jones a job,
right? And that happens. That happens when these owners, it's like the owner wanted them, but then the GM didn't want them, or the GM wanted them, but then the coach didn't want them. So you have these quarterbacks that somebody there didn't want them, and so they refuse to let them develop. Now it's either you got it. It's like people want their quarterbacks to be Dak Prescott. And I'm sorry, but Dak is the only quarterback that you're going to see come up from a 4th-string quarterback and take the starting job. That's just not reality. That's not really something that happens. It's not something that's going to happen often. It's probably something that will happen like once a couple generations, or once every 10 years because of generation. So it's something that's not really just going to pop off immediately. I can hit the ground running. I don't need reps. I don't need to train with the ones. I just came in good. Like that just really doesn't happen. So I think people just got to temper expectations, and these teams need to learn how to grow with quarterbacks. Grow with the quarterback, but they be so hell, and it's like y'all suck anyway. So why don't you just develop and go through the sucking with him and bring him up? It's like y'all keep wanting to draft more quarterback. You still suck. So what the hell you keep drafting more quarterbacks? It's because you're trying to draft someone to be the savior. I want him to save us, and it's like that's just not realistic. Like there's so much that quarterbacks need in order to be successful.
Yeah, and not to go too long on quarterback, but that also adds on to, like you said, the turnaround with the team, the turnaround with the coaches. So like you say, you have one GM who wanted this guy, and then a new coach that comes in every
right. Then you got a new coach, then he don't.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So you just have a lot of turnover, coach wise, player wise, because they want to, like you said, draft a new player every other year. Where I'm the new coach, I want a new quarterback. I want my guy. So it's so much turnover, man.
It's just so much turnover, and you're right. $100,000. He said, look at what the Giants are doing with their quarterback. They're letting them sit. Exactly. Jackson Dart. And I heard they said Jackson Dart looked pretty good in preseason. Yeah. But let him develop. Let him develop. Stop forcing these quarterbacks out there. And then it's like you make them lose their confidence. Yeah. Like somebody like Anthony Richardson, he's trying to keep the faith, but you can tell he's losing his confidence. And hell, if Shane Steichen is fired, Anthony Richardson is all but gone.
Right.
So, and I think that's why Anthony Richardson's still not ready. So Steichen is like, Daniel Jones is not nowhere near the talent that he is. But if I lose again, I'm probably going to be fired.
Yeah, right. That part. He definitely think about Steichen on that one. He's like, look, Rich, or Anthony Richardson, I'm sorry, but
I can't develop
you. Right. Exactly.
My job is on the line. But let's move on. We said on that front, but running back.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm surprised they kept 2 veterans, but I'm not mad at the room, but I am mad that I'm with you since I don't understand why. Essentially your best running back in preseason isn't on the team anymore. I'm not sure why Deuce didn't make it. I'm even more mad at Shotty for being like, he's a great player, he's a standout, but I don't know if it's his reasoning, and I'm glad Matroda asked a question about, whether Shotty does get the decision over all 53, but for him to be like, he's this, and this, but when you run a team and you really only have one role, we can't do much for you. And I'm like, but he could be running back too, maybe slash.
Right, and it's like
producing.
Right, it's like Shotty, right. He's like he's producing. You said he didn't have a role. Y'all never let him return any kicks or punts to see if he could play that role.
But you had Blue out there. You had Blue returning kicks.
But you had Blue return. That's what I'm saying. Like some of this roster guys is fixed. Shotty said before the first preseason game, "Oh, we already have we already have our projection. We're just
Correct.
looking at preseason to see if anybody changes our mind. So it's like, yeah, basically y'all already knew y'all was gonna cut Deuce. And that's
Right.
effed up because
Right.
it's like it didn't matter how he performed, y'all was gonna cut him anyways.
Yep.
And then you talking about he's a great player and all of this type of stuff. And you could tell Shotty didn't want, this is what I'm saying. I hate the politics of the Dallas Cowboys because you can tell. Now I'm not saying Shotty was a believer in Deuce because his reviews on Deuce was always me, and a lot of times he would even forget Deuce's name. He was, oh, we got this one, oh, and then there's Deuce. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like Shotty never respect Deuce, no way. But
Correct.
still, you could tell he didn't want Miles Sanders because he was like, yeah, you know, we got Javonte, and you know, we got, and he's this now. You got the rookies, and then we got Miles Sanders who
spent that time with Philly.
Right, who's done it before. Right,
he's done it before. That's what he said.
I was like, who's done it before? I was like, yeah, he definitely didn't want him. This was Jerry and Steven. They want to try to what's it called? They love we revitalize this player. So what they're trying to do is revitalize Miles Sanders and create a story out of that. But it's like it was clear from preseason, Miles Sanders ain't got it. It was clear from training camp. I went and saw Javonte Williams live. Not feeling it. I'm gonna be real interested to see what he's gonna do versus Philly because. Wasn't feeling it, and then you have Phil Maffa, but they put him on IR, so he's got to miss the first 4 games, and we never run Hunter Luepke. So our running backs are going to be Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. Y'all don't be shocked, y'all, if Jaden Blue don't even dress for the first game. Don't be shocked. I want y'all to know that because everybody hype Jaden Blue. I'm like, don't be shocked if Blue is not even dressing out. Versus Philly, and if he do, he gonna be getting scat work because I think that ankle of his is actually messed up.
Not that he played bad, but that third preseason game, just like you said,
it was Deuce, not good.
Maffa, Blue,
right?
What did we see Blue outside the touchdown? And that was at the 1 yard line,
the goal line.
No shame. He made it. You know what I'm saying? But
he did make it.
He did have a run with a burst to play before that, but other than that, we really didn't see a lot from Blue from the third.
He didn't do much. He did not do much. And that little goal line touchdown he did, y'all hyping that to hell. Y'all told me scoring at the goal line didn't matter.
Yeah, right. I saw your tweet. I'm like, yes.
Now y'all like, now y'all saying that that Blue got it because he got a literal goal line touchdown. Like, all right, y'all gonna see what Blue is, and now they need to not play Blue until he's fully healed from that ankle.
Yeah, and I'm with that. I feel like
he's clearly not healed.
Right. Not that they threw him out there, but I feel like they wanted to use the third preseason game to say, okay, let's see what we at least can see what we see from you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get to see you from the first 2 games. Let's at least see if we can get you out there and maybe run some snaps. Because not that I thought he was limited, but I just felt like we didn't see a lot from him. We didn't see a lot of yard gainage. I don't know. I just saw him
averaged like 1.8 yard. And Stephen White, Deuce, you said he looked light. He looked bad last game. He was the best running back. There's no way he looked bad. What game are you talking about? There's been no game where Deuce
pass pro.
Right, and he was balling in pass pro, so I'm unsure what you're saying. I'm unsure what you're saying there.
No, it's not to you, Stephen. I'm just saying, like, Deuce, like, and even the second preseason game too, like, Deuce has been balling in pass pro. Like, he's right. In my opinion, he's been I haven't watched every running back equally as far as pass pro, but in my opinion, he's been one of the best pass pro out there.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the best, if not the best, the whole preseason game. So we cut Deuce because he is 5'5".
Right.
We cut him because he's 5'5", and people just don't want small running backs. They just don't believe in small running backs. They don't believe. There was a clear bias against Deuce since he got here. I don't think he ever should have been drafted by us because I don't believe this coaching staff ever believed in him. Ever. I don't think Mike McCarthy wanted to draft him. I think it was Jerry. And I don't think Shotty wanted him.
He drafted a running back. Just to say he had a running back.
Right. And it was a story because his dad worked and all that stuff. But it's like they never wanted Deuce. And it was clear because they never played him. They never played Deuce. So, and now, I'm worried about my guy Deuce because I thought maybe he'll get picked up on waivers. He didn't get picked up. So now he's just out on the streets. So I don't even know. Like, it's clear that there's a bias. If you're 5'5" in the NFL, you're not gonna get any playing time.
Yeah.
You said the way he got tackled. Yeah.
I can see what you mean, Steven, because he did. At least for me, I don't feel like he got thrown around. I feel like he just kind of bounced off. I feel like he kind of bounced off the line. Like, I feel like when he's talking, he just bounced back, and he's popping right back up. So I got
right.
He's kind of like an agile. I think he used to that.
Right,
I mean,
right. He's used
guy, he probably
exactly.
got friends or brothers, maybe
right.
down in his family.
Exactly,
but
I agree with
me about. You know what I'm saying? He probably used to that.
Right, I agree with that, but it is what it is. I mean, Deuce is off the team. I was very sad and disappointed, but I'm hoping for the best for him. I'm hoping that a team, takes a chance on him and actually gives him a chance, because he never had a chance here. He just didn't. So,
I agree. We can move to the wide receivers. I mean, I said this early, weeks ago. I feel like Tolbert was going to make the team, in name only and based off the touchdowns from last season.
right,
like that's true. Because if you name any other, and I feel like any other player, I ain't gonna say any other, because I know there's politics and stuff like that, but you bring a wide receiver in here who had a camp like Tolbert, just solely off this 2025, had a camp like Tolbert, had a preseason like Tolbert. I know he didn't play a lot, but
he would be good.
You feel me? It's like, what did Tolbert really show? Like in this year's camp? You know what I'm saying? He was constantly being jumped over, thrown around the field, plays being made over him, interceptions. That's just like, that's not a guy. And even just kind of go back a little bit for Sanders. We didn't see him a lot in camp. He was out hurt. So how do you... We
didn't really get no real evaluation of Sanders at camp.
Man, right.
There's
I really saw him was during the scrimmage, and that's it.
None of these backs, let's just be honest, none of these backs showed anything. Like, Javonte Williams didn't earn shit.
Right.
He just got the job. So I think
it was awarded too, because he wasn't in preseason. I'm still blown about that. A guy we haven't seen at all, period.
We haven't seen him at all. He hasn't looked like he's supposed to look since his rookie year, since he's suffering from these 2 leg injuries, and we just gave him the job. Now, I did say, to be fair, like, I think he was kind of forced into that role because he's the only back on the roster outside of Mafa that fits that physical identity that we want, but I mean, there's
without looking elsewhere. I'm just
we could have made a trade. There were several backs released. Davian Martinez. There were several backs that were released.
I was mad about
and it's like y'all,
right?
And it's like y'all not even interested in none of these guys. I mean, Jaquincy Jackson. It was a lot of people that I feel like we could have just took a flyer on, but
Cowboys running, but they had that. I think they had, like you said, like I think this room for me screams politics, because outside of
the complete room is politics.
Really, you know what I'm saying? Like outside of Mafa,
the whole room is politics. The whole room is politics.
We saw Lipke one preseason game last season, and then didn't see him at all this preseason. It's just it's crazy. But
and Lipke, I mean, it's clear. There's one person that Shotty love. It's Lipke. All right, Shotty, you better use him too, because you just, bro, of course we got Hunter Lipke. Every time he talks about it, he just smiling and grinning. Okay, well, we'll see if you actually use him, because what is Lipke is good. I'm not saying Lipke is not good. I do think Lipke is good, but we'll see if he actually uses them. That's what I'll say. We'll see if he actually uses them, because y'all said that same stuff when Mike was here. And Lipke, actually, we started bench. Like, Lipke had some good games, and then all of a sudden, we just made him a blocker, and then that was it. Like, I really don't get these coaches, bro. I don't get what they see. And maybe it's just some of this stuff is just off the field stuff that we'll never know. But I don't get some of these decisions. I don't get some of these coaches. And again, I know, Jerry and Steven, they meddle. Like I said, I believe they forced Miles Sanders on the roster. Yeah. They forced it, they forced Javonte Williams, but I just think that, you said Davis looked the best. I feel like y'all kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like y'all kind of hyping Davis a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't really do much the second. He ran well at the end of the Ravens game, and then he didn't do anything versus the Falcons. He got like a carry. And y'all know Davis has been sitting on our practice squad since 2022.
Yeah, for a long time.
So it's like, if Davis was like that, nobody else try to get you at this point. But that's just and Stephen White, just know it's okay. I appreciate you giving feedback. We just disagree on stuff. So it's like you comment, I'm gonna just tell you like, I don't know if I agree with that. But there's also a lot of stuff we do agree on. But yeah, and we added Davis back to the practice squad over Deuce. So Deuce is gone. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I'm done, talking about Deuce because y'all just gonna continue to disrespect him just because he's 5'5". So it's just like whatever. But moving on, with Tolbert, yeah, I agree, sis. There was nothing that Tolbert did to earn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, last year, right? Last year, he did pretty good when it comes to if you just look at the stats. Now, when you turn on the film, did not look good. I don't think Tolbert. And I don't see an improvement from route running. Now I gotta look
exactly.
I gotta look closely. And granted, he didn't get that many snaps in preseason, so we just have to. I guess we'll have to wait to evaluate him once the season starts. Yeah. But it didn't look like that route running got any better. So he was also just guaranteed a spot. And another thing, I'm sick of ninjas.
Said you crazy.
I'm sick of ninjas saying, "Oh, Tolbert, that's Dak's guy." I was like, when did he become Dak's guy? Just because Dak throws, he can't help that Tolbert be open on scramble plays. How does that make him Dak's guy? Like, when have you heard him and Dak just got this great relationship? Like, yeah, he shows up to the throw meetings, but a lot of players show up to the throw meetings. Like, I think Tolbert, if he's anybody's guy, he's Shotty's guy.
Yes, he was the one raving about. Yeah, you see the notes he takes, and how attentive he is.
Exactly, he's Shotty's guy, but people keep putting him on Dak. Y'all know that's Dak's guy, so he's gonna be that's Dak's guy. It's like what? Like why y'all always? Why y'all always put everything?
Right, I heard Dak name drop Tolbert. Remember before I heard
literally
name drop Tolbert, but
you haven't even heard Dak say Tolbert's name one time this camp besides maybe like at the very first press conference of camp. That was it. But y'all just act like Dak just so in love. He been talking about CD and Pickens. CD and Pickens. CD and Pickens. Ain't nobody talking about no Tolbert.
Even Turpin, Dak will go, he would go in for Turp, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's that speedster guy, we can give him the ball. He's
right.
Fast, yeah, like
Tolbert? Nah, bro. Dak see Tolbert as
a boys.
What do you say? Mingo's injury saved Tolbert. No, Mingo's injury saved Flournoy because Tolbert was always gonna make this team.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's saved Flournoy, and once Mingo come back, they're cutting Flournoy.
Correct.
But Tolbert was always gonna make it.
I want to see how they progress, though. I mean, I think if they continue on their trajectory, if Flo does, end up passing Tolbert as far as production, hopefully we'll see a spike in his production with Flo. Because I like you mentioned earlier with the route running, like you said, we see Flo with the route running. We even saw Mingo a little bit before Mingo went down with the route running separation.
Flo actually worked on his route running.
Exactly.
Mingo actually worked on his route running. When it came to Tolbert and Angry, I'm gonna have to disagree because he had one-on-ones last year. Nobody cared about Tolbert last year. Everybody was focused on CD. So nobody cared about Tolbert. He had one-on-ones last year. We saw him go head up one-on-one with second and third string corners. And it wasn't great. That's all I will say. It was not great. So, but that's just my opinion. I think Tolbert is a decent wide receiver. I just don't think... I think he's replaceable.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you're not going to pay him. So, it's like just trade him or get rid of him. Like, you can do better.
Right.
But that's just my opinion.
That's my point earlier about Awesome. Like I said, it wasn't a slight. Not saying I didn't see the value in Awesome, but if anything, like a lot of people were saying in offseason trading Tolbert and things like that, and maybe there wasn't any inquiries, but that would have been maybe a player like that. I would have seen the Cowboys possibly trading.
Exactly, sis. And I feel like we should have traded him. We should have traded Tolbert because we're not going to pay him. He's a third round pick that's underperformed. We drafted Tolbert to be a number 2, eventually maybe go to a number 1. Or 1A or 1B, and he just is a 3-4 at best. You know what I'm saying? So that's my issue with Tolbert. Like, and I feel like you knew you were going to be given the position, so why didn't you work? Like, I didn't see you working on what you were bad at. And I don't know if it could be the
Right.
coach's fault, because it's the coach's job to evaluate and say, hey, this is what we need you to work on in the off season.
Yeah.
But I just know that the camp clips, every time there was a pick or something bad, it was Tolbert. That's all I know.
Right.
Now, that could just be camp, and maybe he comes out angry. Maybe Tolbert comes out and balls out. And if he does, I'll gladly eat crow. I just feel like he but
Yeah.
moving to the other people, George Pickens, okay, we knew he was gonna make it. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Turpin, we knew he was making it.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Kim Berry? Glad to see you. In the basement, boys. So, we knew he's gonna make it, but Flournoy, him and Brooks was pretty much neck and neck. But Shotty said Flournoy won because of the special teams.
Yeah, and I was surprised too because Brooks he shows up on special teams. I think Brooks, like, I'm not even a huge Brooks fan, but I'll say that Brooks had a decent camp and training camp. We saw a lot of flashes from him. A lot of deep catches. I tweeted like he. I even say that he could have been like a sneaky deep threat that we needed, all along that we just never really.
Brooks, Brooks showed out. We have to be honest. Brooks showed out.
Yes.
He showed out the catches that he was making. I was like, wow. But Flournoy did too. We gotta be honest. Brooks and Flournoy were really, to me, they were neck and neck.
They were the ones that connected me. Like I like Mingo, but for me it was more like the mystery and like what are we gonna see from Mingo. But like Brooks and Flo, they were definitely neck and neck. They were definitely battling for that. I'll say fourth or fifth, or I guess they end up either five, but maybe like fifth or sixth spot. You know what I'm saying? And as we see, as you guys have probably seen, we saw that they brought Brooks back for the practice squad. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy for him. I think he definitely deserved a shot, to be able to return, because he definitely, he had a great showing in camp and in preseason.
He did. I think Brooks had a great showing, and it's clear that he put in work. He put in work. It's clear Flournoy put in work. So, shout out to those guys. And we went light. I think last year we carried 6. This year we're only carrying 5.
Right.
So that's also interesting. Or maybe we will carry 6 when Mingo gets back and we'll cut someone else. So that's also a possibility. But just for right now, we're only carrying 5. So that's interesting. Yeah. Then we move on to the tight end room.
I'm not gonna lie.
It was fixed. As soon as Jerry gave Ferg the check, that was fixed. So we already knew. It didn't matter for Ferg. And that's another thing. Well, look, before I tell you, you want to say something on the tight ends? Because that's your group.
I was going to say, nothing else. Like you said, I'm not surprised. Of course, we knew about Jake, and of course, Schoon, the second round pick. I don't think they feel like they want to give up on him. And I feel like he had a decent camp, his first off season, kind of getting back involved, not missing really any time, knocking wood. That's great for him. I'm glad he was able to, spend time with the guys going on the trip and within camp. And also, of course, we know Brevin was kind of, he was definitely turning up in camp, before he went down. And hopefully he'll be able to return soon. But just one quick note I will make on the guys who didn't make it. They did bring back, I think, Fant and Fairweather, which I'm happy about. I think really.
I love Fairweather.
Girl.
Fairweather and Fant.
I love Fairweather. Tweet like he could be a sneaky add to the room, and like he could be a star. Maybe number 2.
Fairweather is good. The catches, and I know one of his catches he had that he got erased because of penalty. But when he caught that, I was like, "What the hell?" Like I think he really
blocking.
Right, his blocking. I really like Fant too. So I'm glad that I think we brought both of them on the practice squad. So I really am glad that we brought them back on the practice squad. Now,
and I agree with basement boys here. Fairweather had me, and not that I was, looking at Schoon, but he had me overlooking Schoon. Like Fairweather's, like I said, his blocking, his pass catching. Like you said, he almost had. I know he had a touchdown in the preseason game, but he had one previously to that. Like you said, that was wiped out by, I think, a penalty. I think also when he was in illegal formation. So it's like this guy has been not even quietly turning up. He's been turning up, and some of this stuff has been wiped out due to penalties or just off plays. So I'm glad that I'm glad that they decided to retain him. I think he could, throughout the year, I think progress and, maybe sometime next year. I wouldn't say this year because, I think, Brevin could come back. Fant was doing some things as well. That's another thing I'll say for Fant. I'm glad to see some progression from him because before we saw like a lot of blocking, at least for me, in previous training camps and previous preseason, we saw like a lot of blocking, but not a ton of pass catching. So I love that they got him more involved. As far as play calling, they had some plays on for him in preseason. So I'm glad he was able. We saw that big block he made for Milton coming down the field. I'm not saying that's what sealed it, but I just love seeing the physicality because we just haven't seen a ton from fans. So I'm glad that they brought both those guys back in. I'm happy for our room. And just one last note, I'm definitely sad that Stevens. Not saying that we saw it coming, but Stevens was cut and he wasn't returned just yet. But I just sending prayers up to him and hopefully he can return from that double injury because we saw him kind of getting back a little bit, but as we know, it's going to take time for him to fully get back, hopefully to where he was before. So just shout out to him and hopefully he can get some opportunities in the future.
Facts, I agree with that, and I think Stevens, like you said, he just could never stay healthy.
Yes.
I mean, he could never stay healthy. You've been here for 2 to 3 years, and it's not his fault. I mean, he had back-to-back ACL injuries that derailed him and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, when we talk about the tight end room, I'm not as low on Schoon because I started seeing things click for Schoon.
That's true.
The second half of the season last year. Now, Camp. I mean, nobody talked about Schoon ever, so I don't know. But I do know that last year, Schoon was not dropping balls. That's all I know. Like, Schoon looked like his hands was made of glue, and anything you threw him, he's going to catch, and you really could see the speed. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't know, like, Schoon is an athlete. I know everybody hates him, but his RAS score, it was on par with Kyle Pitts. I'm not saying he is Kyle Pitts. I'm just saying his RAS score was on par. So that means his shuttle, his 40 time was good. So
and I do think he's pretty physical.
Right, he is physical. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Schoon does this year. I'm hoping for the best for him to show up and show out. I do feel like Rivaldo Fairweather likely could be better, you know what I'm saying, but unsure. Schoon is one of he's a part of the Mozzie draft. There's 2 picks that everybody hated. It was Mozzie and Luke Schoonmaker. So they just are never going to get that nasty taste or that nasty label off of them unless they just go and ball out. So I'm wishing the best for Schoon. And then Brevin Spanford, I feel like he kind of just got the benefit of the doubt because of his measurables. Now, granted, he did work out with Real Truth, which is Boss. Shout out to Boss Cowboy. That's his guy. That's the same guy who trained Ashton Genty. So Brevin did work with him and got better. And Shotty was saying he looked amazing before he went down. But it's like it's just amazing how some players can be injured the whole camp, but you automatically got a roster spot. It just feels kind of weird because it's like you was hurt almost of literally the entire camp. Missed all of preseason. So that right there, even though I like Brevin Spanford and I'm hoping that he balls out this year, that right there though still shows like he already had his spot. It didn't matter what he did.
Undrafted.
Right.
Bro. The only undrafted person to make the team last year, but now like you said, it almost seemed automatic. Like we were going off what he did and going from OTAs and really leading up to camp because he wasn't really in camp a lot because he got hurt, right?
He got hurt literally like the first week of camp. So it's just amazing how he just makes the roster over someone who like Fairweather and Fant, who's been putting in the work. But like I said, they were saying he looked unstoppable at OTAs and all this stuff. So I really hope that he balls out. Because I mean he's got the tools to do it. It's just all about is he gonna put it on the field and how much as the third tight end are they really gonna play him?
Correct.
So that's another thing. Like how much are y'all really? Because we are also going to be playing Hunter Lupke as a tight end and a running back. So it'll be interesting to see how much he actually plays. I'll just say that. It'll be interesting to see how many snaps does he actually get. Because I don't see it being that much. But who knows? Maybe not. Because maybe they feel like, hey, Schoon, you suck. We're going to play him over you. So
right. Like you said, because he's still Schoon as far as I'll speak to. He's still trying to come along and see if he can really put it all together, like you said. And I agree with you. I think if Schoon can put it together, I think tight end 1 and tight end 2, could be a great compliment to our wide receivers, and just not. And the one more note I will say is, I agree with you on the point of Schoon not showing a great camp, because I will say during the preseason games, I talked about Fairweather and his blocking. I think Schoon had some of the worst blocking out there. A lot of plays were blown up behind the line of scrimmage because Schoon, failed to block or fully hold his man. So yeah, that was definitely, we talked about guys working on things that, that they are the best at. Even Shadi mentioned that, hey, like, we're telling guys what we want them to work on. But that was something that he mentioned for, because that was something that Schoon was kind of praised on, last couple of years, outside, he wasn't great at pass catching, but his blocking, that's something he was great at. But to see this past preseason, the way his blocking was looking, I say the last 2 games, just from what I can remember, yeah, they weren't the greatest. So hopefully he can improve in that, because he has improved as far as pass catching. But I mean, right. I'll say for me, blocking is a little more important, because we need, trying to get our run game up.
That's true.
Blocking, that's more important.
But that's for all the tight ends, sis.
Yeah.
I don't know how Span is looking blocking, but Ferg also is terrible at blocking. So they really Lunda,
right.
They need to get better at blocking, because right now none of them look great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just be honest. Yeah. Like Ferg, your position was given to you. You got a check, so it's given. So I really hope you show up, because last year was a travesty. So I really hope you show up this year, Ferg, because if not, our tight end play not gonna be great. I'll just say it
on him. Like you said, Schoon.
Yeah, we're banking on you. Right. Everybody's banking on you, because we done paid you $30 million guaranteed. So we're expecting you to go out there and perform. No excuses. So yeah, it's gonna be, that tight end room is gonna be real interesting to see how they actually perform.
I think Fairweather is 6'1". Stephen White. I think it's 6'1" or 6'2". I think I heard it during the game, but I gotta go back and confirm. But I think he's 6'1".
Yeah, they have they have the heights on the list right there, sis. Oh, but he's not on the list. Never mind. Yeah, so I forgot he's been cut. Never mind. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, moving to the D line. Micah Dove, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Micah, Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezaraku, not shocked. Sam Williams, not shocked. Now, to be honest, I also think Sam Williams could be a good trade candidate.
Right.
Because you're not going to pay him. And I know he only played a few snaps, but I didn't like what I saw from Sam Williams in the preseason.
No, I was like, he should play more.
Right. It's like, you need to play more. Y'all just guaranteed him that spot. And he just looked like he's still out there just doing the same dumb, boneheaded shit. Do y'all remember all the penalties Sam Williams got us in 2023?
Right.
Wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like you were a whole year removed and you still out there doing dumb stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we talk about Dak not playing, a game in, so many odd months. Sam Williams had to play, I think, in almost 2 years? Right. I think he got hurt at the beginning of camp last season.
Right. He got hurt beginning of camp.
I'm just trying to figure out why, like where the reasoning comes from not playing. I understand maybe, fear of injury or, not want to take any chances, but he hasn't played any snaps. Like how does he only come along in training camp practices in the scrimmage versus the Rams? Like you can't come that far at that much progression. And just in my opinion, maybe you can, having a full off season, but I would love to see Sam Williams out there.
Yeah, me too. I would. I think for yeah, so Sam was a shocker. Marshawn Nealon's not really a shocker. He's kind of like we drafted him to be our D-Law replacement. James Houston is someone that I'm very glad, because even though there's a lot of politicking in the room going around, James Houston making the roster is big, because usually people like him, we cut. It don't matter how they perform. It don't matter how they perform, we cut them. You know what I'm saying? We're like, you're bottom of the depth chart, you're not making the team. So the fact that we actually let James Houston make the team, and I hope we actually play him, because politics can get in when you have Donovan Ezaraku ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? Which you got to ask yourself. I know Dono was a second round pick, but what did he do in preseason?
Right. Even Shotty said that he still needs to work on his development. Shotty himself said that he has his rookie phases. He still needs to progress. He has some progression to go. Like, and we saw, in my opinion, we saw some slight progression going throughout the games, but there wasn't a lot of time you saw as a Rocky. You saw some flashes, but you didn't really see him make getting to. We definitely saw Houston, and even another thing I'm kind of a little mad about Tyrus Wheat. He ended up being claimed by the Lions, like. And I tweeted this out earlier, like, we spend time developing these guys, and then for them to get snatched off by another team sometimes. Like, I know we maybe a bit, of course, lower on the depth chart, but I like his progression this offseason. I like what I've seen, working the opposite side of James Houston. Those are the two guys that stood out to me in preseason. So just being honest, I was kind of talking about that. You know what I mean? I thought for sure, even if we didn't have Wheat on the 53, we for sure could have. I mean, but even though we're practice squad, someone could have claimed him. So
he got claimed.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, wow.
Because he's actually, I knew it was going to be hard pressed though for Wheat to make it, because it's like, who are you going to keep him on? Who are you going to keep him over?
Right.
And when you look at somebody like him and Marshawn Nealon, they kind of got the same bag. So it's like, you ain't going to cut your second round pick you just drafted last year. So it's like, even though he was good, you basically have to pick between Wheat and Houston. And Wheat is more of a run stop edge setting type of DE compared to, they can give you some splash in the pass rush, but I'm not really like a refined pass rusher like that compared to James Houston, who is a refined pass rusher. Clearly, he did look unblockable the whole preseason. Now, of course, once he goes against starters, we don't know how he's gonna look, but we do know he looked great against, backups at least. So that was something that was interesting. Perion Winfrey is another guy that I'm glad that made it. I did think that Perion did deserve to make the team. He clearly had a lot of flash plays in preseason. Had a lot of flash plays. He is a 3 tech, but I think they're gonna try to play him like a tweener. They basically probably gonna try to make him a Chauncey Golston replacement. That's what I think they're going to try to do with Perion, to where, because you saw in the preseason, they played him standing up. I think they're going to just use him as their chess piece across the line, because he can kind of play a little bit of everything. He doesn't have a true position.
So I love his size. I mean, and being taller. I'm saying mentioned Chauncey, but he's taller too. So some of that height, and I saw he caused a lot of disruption at the line of scrimmage, and I feel like he can just get his hands up. You know what I'm saying? And maybe
he does feel like a very He's a very disruptive player, and y'all have to remember, Perion got it out of the league for off the field stuff, so it wasn't that his play, and he was a third round pick, I think, out of Oklahoma. So he's got a lot of promise. Hopefully he can find himself a home here, because I can see him, if he performs very well, then we'll probably he'll be a guy we'll just throw 2-year, unless he balls out and a lot of teams want him. But if not, I feel like he's a guy we could probably keep around for the next 2 to 3 years by just giving him a little a Dorrance Armstrong contract or something like that. While he's here.
I think I'm looking up now on Wikipedia. It says he was with the Jets, but I think I heard that he was once with Coach Whitecott, and I think he had spent some time. I forget.
Right, I heard.
Or something like that.
Somebody said that he was with Whitecott, and so Whitecott looked like Perion is his guy, as well as Solomon Thomas.
Right.
Which I would have loved to see Solomon Thomas. I know that he's a vet, but it's he's not a Pro Bowl, all pro vet. You know what I'm saying? This guy's a journeyman kind of. And it was not too much of a journeyman, because I think he just went straight from the 49ers to the Jets. So he's not that much of a journeyman. But I mean, this is his third team that he's been on. I would have liked to see Solomon Thomas, especially because they talking about potentially playing him at the 1 and all this crazy ass shit that didn't look like it worked at camp, but they say it's going to work versus Philly. So we'll see. I guess we're just gonna have to wait till next Thursday to see how that turns out. But Solomon Thomas was not a starter on the Jets, so I don't know. We gotta see. I'm hoping for the best. Then of course, my guy Mozzie made it, which I know not a lot of people were excited about. That sounds like the coaching staff, especially Shotty. Shotty is being very weird with Mozzie. I do not see Shotty publicly critiquing any other player, but he is publicly critiquing Mozzie. He is saying Mozzie is not consistent. And yeah, we saw him flash, but then you can't flash and then have 2 plays where you're not holding the point of attack as strong. Like, what the fuck? Like, it really feels like he's got it. And I don't know if it's off the field stuff, like if there's something that they're seeing with Mozzie behind closed doors that they don't like. Yeah. I don't know if they just feel like he's not a scheme fit, or I don't know if it's more so I'm coaching him tough because I believe this is what he needs to max out. Because if we're going to be honest about Mozzie, he has always been a player where, since college, he's a player where against the best competition, he balls out. But when he's playing like just normal competition, you can see that he's not balling out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can get for a coach how that is perplexing, because it's like, okay, you just played Philly offensive line and destroyed them, which is the best offensive line in football, but then we turn on the tape versus the 49ers and you don't look good. And their offensive line is significantly worse. So I don't know what it is. Now, Shotty said he had a talk with Mozzie, everything. So I don't know, but it just feels like, is this coaching staff betting against him? Because if so, there's no winning for Mozzie. If your coaching staff is avidly betting against you, there's nothing you can do. You know, there's nothing you can do to be better, and it's going to be even harder to perform. So I don't know what Shotty is doing, because like I said, I have not seen him. You saw Booth get cooked all game, but then you came out and said Booth did some good things. What?
Right.
But to me, it's like you're overly critiquing Mozzie. Like, Mozzie wasn't on the ground like Jay. Mozzie wasn't on the ground like that person. Exactly. But Shotty's talking about Mozzie like he is just out there getting destroyed and he's a serious issue. So I just feel it's kind of weird, his language around Mozzie. I don't like it. I feel like if you don't believe in him, bro, just get rid of him.
Right.
Just get rid of him.
I agree.
Trade him, whatever. Just cut him, get rid of him. Because betting against your own players is not going to end up anywhere good.
Right. No, I definitely agree, because like you said, I mean, I know Michael Parsons is completely different, but it seemed like Shotty would keep a lot of his private conversations, or even he said, you know, a lot of times I keep to myself, or I keep it between me and that player, so on and so forth. Like you said, like every press conference, and at least for me, it seems more as of recent, because even early in their offseason, he wasn't really talking about, okay, we need to see this from Mozzie, we need to see this, or I told them this, I told them that. We weren't seeing, at least for me, I wasn't hearing a lot of it, but it seemed like as soon as camp started up, you know, they started asking more questions. Oh, did Mozzie lose weight? Did he do this? Did he do that? Right. Like he started feeding, like you said, he started kind of feeding it to it too. And even this most recent press conference talking about something, you know, I spoke with Mozzie, you know, I let him know he had a good practice. He had great practices this past weekend, but then, you know, we still seeing some inconsistency. So I let him know that. And he even said, even him making the team, he still let him know that it wasn't, you know, not because you're a first round talent, not because, you know, it's nothing and all that. And I'm like, said, like, I understand, you know, particularly a player, but it's like, yeah, you're going above and beyond to be like, it's not possible. You're not this.
Exactly, sis. And then telling him, just because you make the 53, don't mean you're going to make the game day roster. It's like
what?
Yes. You purposely telling the media all of this shit about Mozzie, who you know the media hates. It feels weird. Exactly. It feels weird because I'm like, I get tough coaching, but what coach just be publicly undressing their players to the media?
Right. And like there's plenty of the players who could be like we mentioned earlier, Tolbert, who had so many touchdowns last season.
But Tolbert looked like shit. He looked like shit all camp. Jake Ferguson looked like shit last year, but he's a leader. He's our enforcer. That's what I'm saying. You're not being fair across the board. I feel like you're targeting Mozzie. Like I said, and I don't know, maybe it's Mozzie's not doing something behind the scenes. But then when you hear from White Cotton and Flus, they say Mozzie is the ultimate accountability.
Yes.
He wants to be coached hard. So I'm like, I don't know. Something is off. Something is off. And I'm not liking how he's being handled. Yeah. I'm glad that he made the team, because if he didn't make the team, then who do you have?
Correct.
Jay Toia? But I just feel like, and I love Jay, but he's got to grow. But yeah, but I don't know. I didn't like that. But Stephen White, you said you got to go. You got to fix your air conditioning. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, appreciate you being in the chat. I hope that works out. And that you can get that fixed. And also, Kim Berry said, I think Perion, Osa, and Solomon will be all over the D line with a lot of 5-man fronts. I can see that. I think they're probably going to try to move, because Flus clearly has a lot of exotic looks. So I can definitely see that happening, Ken. Thank you for your comment. And we almost done, guys. We almost done. But go ahead, sis.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. What he just mentioned, and another play we haven't talked. I know we just got through with the defensive edges. But did you see that they kept? I think they put Peyton Turner on like injured reserve or something like that. Sis,
they put Peyton
really,
which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked what I saw from Peyton Turner, but I know a lot of people hated him. But I was like, he was actually, because I remember like watching training camp clips, and I'd be like, ooh, 98 seemed like he did something. Who is that? And I'm like, oh, that's Peyton Turner. And then saw him had some flashes in the preseason. So I don't think he was worth putting an IR designation.
Right, that's my thing.
That felt a little bit weird, because I'm like, but at the same time,
politics maybe, because like are you making sure y'all keep all your free agents that y'all brought in? Y'all kept Devontae Williams, y'all keeping Solomon.
That's a point, sis. They kept almost every free agent that they brought in.
Even Paris Campbell, I think they gave him like a settlement or something like that. I know he ended up getting hurt.
They ended up giving him a settlement. Yeah, they gave him a settlement. And then maybe it's with them. It's like, oh, he's he's a former first round pick. They trying to give him a bit. And it's like, again, I like some things that he did, but it was just like, was he worth putting IR on? I don't know about that. But who knows? I mean, maybe they think so. Maybe Flus was like, nah, I really like him. Like, let's just get him healthy and see, but
I agree with you. There's some flashes. And shout out to James Simmons. Thank you for joining us. Really,
what's up, James? Glad to see you. Glad to see you so much, James. How you doing? And then we talk about the linebackers. None of these are shocks to me. I'm not shocked by anybody. Damone balled out in preseason. Maris balled out. I feel like Shamar, he might have made some mistakes, but I feel like he played very well. You see that he's going to be very good. He's growing.
That boy tackling machine. I love
tackling machine. He had that pick. I like Shamar James a lot. Like, and y'all he's only 20 years old too. And then you've got a long time to like develop him. Then you got Jack Sanborn. We already knew he was making it because he's Flus's guy. And then Kenneth Murray, we knew he was making it, because if there's any other person besides Hunter Lukey that Shotty just lights up when he talks about him, is Kenneth Murray. So we already knew Kenneth was playing, and they did not.
K9. He got a nickname for him.
K9, right? And they made everybody play in preseason besides Kenneth Murray.
That part, and he missed most of the camp. So how you get a job? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It was like a week and a half. I think because he had that baby, but they did not make Kenneth Murray play at all. So he was also just guaranteed a spot. Now, granted, I love Kenneth Murray. I was ecstatic when we traded for him, but at the same time, it's like, you didn't think you wanted to see no snap, so it's just like, okay, the roster was fixed, guys. That's what we're trying to say. A lot of this roster was fixed. It was fixed. They already had it set in stone. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a couple players that I think changed their mind, like James Houston, Perion Winfrey. You'll even see Zion Childress on here, but we just cut him.
Right. We just got to make room for two cornerbacks from another team.
That was weird.
I'm lost. I'm completely lost with this roster.
It's kind of confusing. When we look at these cornerbacks, though, of course, there's not really any shocks beside one, Diggs is on the 53.
Correct.
But he's way ahead of schedule, Steven.
And
he's and Jerry, but he's clearly way ahead of schedule, because Diggs got that surgery at the end, and that surgery that he got, that knee graft, it usually takes like over a year to come back from. So the fact that he's already cleared. He passed his physical, and can actually be on the 53 is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Diggs. I mean, and that does make us feel a lot better, especially about the cornerback room, because if we can get him back in September, I mean, that's really going to help us. Now that does sound crazy early, but I mean, if he's ready, he's ready. I mean, what can you do? Kalen Carson, I think we put him on IR. Yeah, we just put him on because I was like, Kalen Carson missed the entire offseason.
Yes.
So he definitely just made the roster because
I'm trying to figure out what they see from him. I'm trying to figure out what they really see from him because what was that Eric Scott last season that they cut?
Right, that's what he looks. That's who Kalen.
Him.
Right, but
Caleb, who had shown
baby C, he been hurt. Carson, he been hurt the whole time. He was hurt last year. We had to put him basically on IR. Then he was hurt. He missed the entire offseason. And nobody will say, like, what the hell is even wrong with him that he had to miss the entire offseason and made no progress.
Right.
It feels like he should have been cut. But whatever. I mean, you know how they want to prove points. And
I'm lost on that
he was our steal in the 4th round, so they want to try to give him a chance. But it's like...
Even when he was playing, he really didn't, I mean, I know he was still a rookie, still trying to grow into the game speed, but he wasn't playing that well to be given this much of a benefit of the doubt.
He was not playing well. He was not playing well at all.
I know we down bad at corners Cowboys, but y'all just got 2 more in the room. Like obviously, like I'm sorry.
My God, he was not good. He was
There's another point on Childress, like you mentioned earlier. I think it's crazy. I mean, I know they potentially going to bring him back on the practice squad, but I think it's dangerous. And for him and another player too, Elijah Clark, I was surprised that they left them both on the practice squad. Or I don't know if they're still in there now. I think we brought back.
Yeah, they're both. They moved both of. Yeah, Elijah Clark is on the practice squad, and also Zion. I think. Yeah. Well, they didn't.
Too.
They didn't put him.
Kemon back too.
Kemon's on the practice squad too. Kemon's on the practice squad, Elijah, and then Zion. They haven't added him yet, but the goal is to add him back tomorrow. They said.
Okay.
So,
I definitely feel like Childress and Clark. I feel like they're a little bit more similar, but I definitely feel like they should cut those two and maybe not keep. I love Kemon, but I just feel like he didn't show. I know he showed a lot, at least in my opinion, a lot more in coverage, but I feel like they were looking for more from him around the line of scrimmage. I don't think he showed that, and I love that he's back on the squad, but I feel like Childress and Elijah Clark, even coming back from injury, I think Clark had limited snaps, and he still turned up.
They're very physical.
Guys take advantage.
They're very physical safety, cornerback, however you want to call it. I think Elijah's a safety, but Zion's a cornerback. So they're very physical, which I knew when we got them. Like that's what Flus is really looking for in his scheme. Yeah. But they ended up making the cut. I am glad. I know his name is on here, but he did get cut. Andrew Booth.
Yeah.
He got cut today to make room for those extra corners because I was like, listen, another guy who's not on here that I'm heartbroken about is Izzy.
Yes. How do you sign one of your own players, and then you still end up cutting him? I was surprised at that.
I don't know what it is, sis, but I'm kind of glad that they cut him because it's like this kid has been here since 2021.
Yeah.
And that's 3 different coaching regimes where they just don't see it in Izzy. I don't know what that's about. I feel like every time he plays, he makes plays, but 3 different coaching staffs did not believe in him to give him real playing time. Zim actually gave him the most playing time he's ever had.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I'm disappointed in that because Izzy is a dog, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like just him and his energy, and you could just tell, even though he was playing to the last snap in that Falcons game, he was still bringing energy. He was still hyping up his teammates when they were making plays. Yeah. I just felt so sad about that because I think a lot of us were confused.
Gone too.
Right. I feel like a lot of people were confused about that because we were like, we don't get it. Like we seen as fans, as content creators, how impactful Izzy is, but the coaching staff just don't see it. They do not see it. So, and I thought for sure we were going to keep him because Flus was saying he was our Swiss Army knife and stuff, but
Right.
they cut him and they did not bring him back. And maybe they tried to bring him back, but Izzy was like, you know what? Y'all cut me, like I'm good.
Correct.
I'm good.
I almost hope he feels like that, sis, because like you said, it's like he even given opportunities, he capitalized off those opportunities, and even every now and then he got burnt on the field. But do we not?
He was
see
getting
Andrew
burnt.
Booth
He was
more?
getting burned by Pickens, bro. Like, come on, man.
Right.
But what was he doing? But what was he doing in the actual games? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
even y'all having Keymon Hall over him, like,
Right.
how? I don't know. Like, a lot of that shit just really pisses me off. That's what I'm saying. Some of these moves, I don't get it. I don't get how you looked at Andrew Booth and said he's better than Izzy.
Oh, right. I think that's what in the first. I think the first preseason game. Like if Andrew Booth is our best corner on this field, like that's a problem. Like that's not, at least for me. That's not good for me. And then, like you say, you made a room for a Kalen Carson who hasn't shown
right,
anything.
sis. It's like Kalen Carson is here over Izzy. Like, it's a joke. I don't know, guys. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because we saw what Izzy did and does when he gets playing time, and the coach said, nope, not good. So whatever, man.
Right.
I don't get it. And of course, y'all know Dono is the biggest liability. Y'all, I would encourage y'all, go watch Okoye's video about Dono versus Wanye Thomas. Donovan Wilson was literally single-handedly. He was a target. He is our new Anthony Brown, where teams are like, where's Donovan Wilson? Attack him. Anytime we attack him, touchdown or big game.
Yep.
So Dono, but y'all know he's stuck here because he getting the money. Like, that's the shit that I hate. Because it's like, you should have been cut. Donovan Wilson should be cut.
Yeah.
Now, Malik Hooker had a pretty good camp. And he's Fluce's guy, so I knew he wasn't getting cut. But Donovan Wilson...
Right, especially with a guy like, and I think that's one thing like throughout this whole preseason I never really spoke a lot about, but I know he's a solid guy, Wanye Thomas. I just want to give him kudos and shout out to him because the way he played in preseason, like, he almost played like shout out to Rome, a Cowboys fan talk. Like he said, back like he never left. Like the way Wanye was out there throwing himself around, making them tackles. There was one play where at the line of scrimmage, he literally flew at the guy to make a stop at the goal line. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like even missing time at the beginning of this particular camp, being out for, I think, the first one, maybe first two preseason games.
He was out for a while.
Yeah, so for him to still be showing effort out there, like you said, like with a guy like Dono, in my opinion, I feel like if we do hold on to him long enough, which it looks like we are, maybe he can be like maybe a week 8 or week 9, whatever week it is, maybe trade target, maybe someone.
Maybe I'm hoping now, holding out hope, because I don't think he didn't fit Zim's scheme, and I don't think he's going to fit. I don't think he fits Fluce's scheme either. I do not think he fits. And shout out to the VI Cowboys. My first time seeing you in the chat, but thank you so much for your support. He said he's gonna ball out with another team. Go Izzy. I hope so. Yeah. And then our guy Battle Cowboy 999. I agree with what you said. Said in the Bucks game in the playoffs, he was about. That's what I'm saying. He was balling, and they just stopped playing him. I don't know. And with Wanye's gotten significantly bigger, y'all. And so I'm a little bit worried about him being able to move as fluid with that weight. Now we got to see. And I don't know why they made him gain so much weight. Now I appreciate him like flying around, playing with around a line of scrimmage. But it's like, bro, he was one of our best cover. To be honest, I did not look at Wanye in depth until I watched that Okoye video. I'm like, dang, this man really is out here covering. Like, I didn't know Wanye could like cover like that. Like he can cover. So it's like, did y'all make our best cover, like versatile player, gain all his weight? Like, I don't know if he gonna have his twitch and stuff, because the one play, I didn't look at his film like in depth for preseason, but I remember him getting burnt on that one play versus the Rams. Like, the guy was, what's his name, just missed the throw. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm concerned, but I am glad that he made the team, though, because, he has been one of our very good players that was hardly getting playing time because he is in a room with Donovan and Malik Hooker that he just can't move up the depth chart. So, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully, like you do, I mean, it made me think back to Jake Ferguson last season, and even I wouldn't say CD as a prime example, but I think after hearing off seasons where both guys, those two guys, put on weight during the off season, and then they get to the season, and once they start playing, you start seeing them have some nicks and bruises. Like we already seen Wanye come in some time, so hopefully that doesn't have anything to do with the weight gain. I know last season they talked about Ferguson being in the weight room, and then he had kind of a down year. Took a lot of injuries, and the same thing with CD. I know he kind of got in the camp late, but he took a lot of hits to his body too. So hopefully, the weight gain doesn't have anything to do with Wanye's earlier injury in camp. But like I said, I love the way he's been flying around out there, and hopefully he does get more opportunity like Battle Cowboys 999 did say he should have been playing last year. And just seeing Wanye in different camps, going back to last year, season before that, they were giving him more opportunities on special teams. I think making returns, just being more involved. So finally, hopefully, him being able to get his full opportunity, maybe to get back to playing some free safety. Because he's great in coverage. We know his closing speed is, in my opinion, one of the best on the team. Because I love the way he closes speed. About Demo's closing speed. Seeing some of these other guys in the preseason, just some of their speed, show up on film. Like I said, seeing number 2 out there, and now he's, we're in the new number this year. I'm like, who is that? And I happen to remember that's Wanye now. And I'm like, he's still showing some speed out there. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully it doesn't, hinder him in any way, because you definitely will see that play out there, because we, with them big plays happening on us, from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
We know last season was bad, but hopefully we can kind of keep it at bay this season. But we need someone to be able to stop those big plays, because that's one of the big major mistakes that the Cowboys make. As far as our secondary, that's definitely one of our down bad positions.
Right. I agree with that. And I'm hoping for the best. Dang guys, we've been on here long. Let me see. Do we go through the? We can just show the practice squad list and then just close out. But and then this issue with it's looking, this Micah Parsons situation is just not looking good. Now the Cowboys said his back, and first of all, we all know ain't nothing wrong with Micah back. Ain't nothing wrong with his back. Let's just start there. Ain't nothing wrong with Micah back. What's wrong is that he don't have his money. And so he's trying to now figure out a way. Like this agent, y'all, I don't give a damn what nobody say. Mugaleta, he's nasty. And he is not going to stop until he gets Micah the number that he wants. And he will force a trade. He's preparing Micah for the long haul. So Micah's going out of town trying to get some second opinion on his back. And if he gets his second opinion, then him and the Cowboys going to be battling it out, because you're now saying our doctors are liars. You're now saying our medical equipment don't work. And then first of all, it's going to be like, what doctor are you going to be able to find that says that your back is fucked up? Because your back is not fucked up. He's trying to what his agent's trying to do is finesse the game so that he doesn't miss out on game checks. But it really is looking like at this point, I don't think Micah's going to be playing week 1. I don't think week 1 y'all is next Thursday. I don't think it's going to be because now you traveling out of town trying to get some back doctor to say you hurt, like
trying to get a doctor's note. Essentially, you trying to get a doctor's note for next week.
Exactly.
Like,
because every game he sit out, he gets docked like $1 million. So he's trying to figure out a way to not get on that field. That's what he's doing. And then his brother just tweeted out talking about, get ready, y'all, it's gonna get nasty. Like, this is so stupid. Like, why are we doing this?
Right. I don't understand why you're at this point with one of the best players in the league.
Like, this is just really crazy.
I would not have foreseen this. If anybody would have said this last year, that it would get down. I mean, of course we see it. It's been brought up a lot. We've seen examples of it getting down to the beginning of the season, but for it to get this drawn out and this nasty, quote unquote, between the front office and Micah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it getting to this point. And
it's like I knew that it when they said nasty, like I knew contract negotiations here are always nasty. But Micah requesting a trade. Now Micah, it's like you at the do or die stage now. So now Micah's trying to figure out ways so that he don't gotta play. Like this is getting bad. This is getting out of hand. And
I'll be getting like knots, like in my stomach, like
because it's just not
is it gonna be
good.
going out? Is it not?
Right.
Yeah,
It's not good. And it's like, I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about a trade because Jerry and them have made it clear we're not trading him.
yeah.
Like we're not trading him unless you're willing to give us the Herschel Walker trade, which nobody's doing that. So, because nobody's going to ever do that ever again. What we did in that
Right.
Herschel Walker trade was before trades was a thing. So, what Jimmy Johnson did, trading a running back for what he traded for, was crazy. It will never happen again. It will never happen again. So, yeah, but it's just looking bad. And this is, I mean, the Cowboys, they're really preparing for the long haul because Jerry is sticking to his story. We had a deal. You were supposed to take that deal back to we typed it up. We sent it over to your agent so that he could just review it, make sure we wasn't screwing you over. And the agent said, don't like this price. We're starting from ground zero.
That's crazy.
And so now we at that. Now, and
right.
now we're at this point because it's like, Micah, you went in, you talked to Jerry, you discussed numbers. Now you can say all you want. Oh, I didn't know I was in a negotiation. Yes, you did, Micah. Because anytime you talking numbers and in years, Jerry said y'all talk numbers, years, guaranteed.
Right.
Y'all was in there negotiating. Y'all basically built out the skeleton of the deal. Jerry was like, all right, bet. Like, let me send it over to your agent, have him review it. And the agent straight up said, nah. We're starting from ground zero. And so now this is where we're at. Because Jerry feels like I shouldn't have to start from ground zero. We already had the agreement. All we needed to do was put it in the proper terms and in writing. And, I can't, if they actually had an agreement, a shake hand deal or whatever, and Michael was just like, yeah, I'm going to just contact my agent. We're going to get it drafted up. And then all of a sudden the agent's like, hell no.
Right.
I think Micah gonna have to fire this dude because this dude, Muguleta, he forces trades. Like all his players have to get traded to get paid. Like that's how serious Muguleta is. Like he don't give a. He wants well above market, and if you're not going to pay it, he is going to force his player to sit out, force a trade, and 9 times out of 10 they usually do get traded because the front officers are like, F you. Like I'm not doing that. So I don't know, guys, where this going to end. I feel like if Michael want to stay here, he's going to have to fire him. Because T. Higgins had to fire him. Why? Because he was likely trying to say, nah, T, let Chase get paid and then top him. And T was probably like, no, bro, like that's not going to work. But that's what he's trying to convince Micah to do. He's trying to convince Micah.
Wow.
I know they said this is the. I know they said it was here, but we actually want it up here.
I had no idea that he was, because I was wondering, because I know off topic, I know back then when he was trying to get paid, they was going back and forth, and I was wondering what took so long. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, Bengals, I figured Bengals would want both receivers. Joe Burrow wants both receivers. Like, what's the issue with getting Higgins paid? But now that you're saying that, like, it took so long just for anything to even be able to move. Like, I thought Higgins was going to be out of there. So for it to be able to come, like, into the long story.
Higgins had to fire him, bro. Higgins had to fire him. Higgins had to say, bro, I appreciate you, but this is not it.
Right.
So I just think that.
I think I saw a tweet. I'm not sure if you tweeted out. He said like Micah messed up just by talking to Jerry without his agent in the first place, and I completely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not sure like why he even like.
I think Micah, right? I think this is really Micah's agent. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna have to fire him because the thing is this: Micah was talking all off season. I want to be team friendly. I want to do this. I want to get paid. I don't want to wait. I don't care. You did this. You went in, talked to Jerry for 6 hours. Right? You went in and talked to Jerry for 4 to 6 hours. Y'all hammered out this deal because you said you didn't want to wait. You wanted to get paid now so you didn't have to worry about it. And when he went back to his agent told him, nah, man, we can get you way higher than that. And Micah then went back. I do believe this. I do think Micah then said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just let him handle it. Yeah. But it was like You trying to let him handle it when you already worked out a deal. That's the
Right.
issue. Like now you're trying to get your agent to start from ground zero. That is effed up. And anybody can say, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, he's not supposed to be negotiating with the uh he's not supposed to be negotiating, with the players." But it's like everybody does that. And it's like if you have it's just as simple as this, guys. You can have a deal without having it drafted up. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
what's a contractual binding agreement, it's all about putting some lawyer stuff, but it's called the meeting of the minds. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like if I said this and we said yes, that works for me. You now have a deal. It doesn't matter that it don't got all the legalese writing. Yes, you got to
True.
put it into writing, but I think they did have a deal, a framework of a deal, but Micah's
Yeah.
agent told him no. And Micah said, okay, because he's listening to his agent. But I
Yeah.
really do feel like if he wants to get paid, I don't see it working out. Like I don't see it working out with Mugaletta. I mean, it's gonna work out if Micah. This is the thing, and shout out to Okoye, and we can end this. Y'all see the list. These are people we
Yeah.
added to the practice squad. I mean, whatever. But with Okoye, he said this like, it depends on what Michael wants. If Micah's like, I don't care about playing for the Dallas Cowboys, I want the biggest bag possible, then
Correct.
keep Mugaletta. Because that means Michael's like, I'm comfortable getting traded. I want to get out of here. I don't care about this team. I want to get the biggest bag possible. Keep Mugaletta. But if you're saying that you actually want to move forward with the Dallas Cowboys, I don't see a world where this is going to
Right.
happen.
Right.
Unless Micah tells Mugaletta, and it is right. Mugaletta works for Micah. Micah does not work for Mugaletta. So
Right.
it's gonna either take Micah saying, "Look, bro, I'm tired of this shit. Get the deal done, or you're fired."
Yep.
Period. It's either gonna take
Yep.
Micah doing that, or he just gonna stand pat and he's like, "Listen, I'll get traded. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I
Right.
want that whatever number the Mugaletta is putting out there. That's what I want." Well, he put it out there because that little Ricky report. I know that's Micah's team to put that out there. That the Packers have a 45 million. So they just told you what they want is $45 million. That's what they
That's
want.
what I figured too. That's what I figured too. I'm like, there was no numbers kind of circulating at all.
All
Like
of a
really.
sudden, then it's like, oh, they have a $45 million deal on the table.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the number, guys. If y'all want to know what does Michael want, what is he asking for? $45 million APY.
Yeah.
Who knows what the guarantee that they want?
Guaranteed.
Jerry
Right.
said the guarantee was the highest non-paid quarterback. So whatever the highest non-paid quarterback is right now, probably just add 10 to 20 million on top of that is probably what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I think Micah gonna have to make a decision. That's how I feel. Like Micah, you're gonna have to make a decision because either you want to be in Dallas or you don't. That's how I feel. Like either you want to be here and you want to get this shit done, or you're like, nah. If Jerry, if the Cowboys, I'm done. If that's the case, then all right. I mean, what can you do? What can you do about that? But everybody in the
Right.
building is saying that's not the case. Diggs said that ain't the case. Dak said it. So clearly, Micah wants to be here. He's just
Right.
right now torn between keep it good with my agent or do this deal with Jerry. I mean, that's pretty much where he's at.
Right. And even at least for me, in my opinion, when I saw the picture of Jerry and Michael's mom like smiling, I'm like, maybe my first kind of thoughts was like, hey man, if his mom is smiling, hey, I ain't, not saying I ain't worried about it no more, but I mean, she wouldn't be smiling if Jerry was really doing them down and dirty. So I'm just like, hopefully, I'm still waiting on them to come out and say, hey man, we got this deal. We really did get the deal done, back in March. And we just
I mean, I'm
we
hoping
been playing y'all,
for
you
it.
know what I'm saying? But
I'm hoping for it. In anger, he said, if it's David puppeteering Michael so hard that he scrubs his social media and doesn't have his own mind, do you really want such an impressionable type on your team? I mean, angry. It goes to a point where Micah is thinking, I hired David for a reason. I need to trust him. I don't know what conversations that they've had, but it's very difficult when you have somebody like David Mugoleta in your ear telling you what to do. And yeah, I think
Right.
everything was scripted. The trade clause, trade me, scrubbing, all of this is. I'm willing to bet if you go in David's office, he gives Micah a packet and says, "This is the play. Sit
Right.
tight." That's
Right.
so. Yes, I do think David told him to scrub his social medias. I do think David told him this is the trade request. Micah didn't draft that letter. David did. I do
Right.
believe so. Everything that's happening, I believe that it is David telling him this is the playbook. Trust me, I'm the hottest NFL agent. Look at all this money. I got all these players. I got JC Horn, this crazy ass contract. He ain't did shit. Like, just shut up and let me do it. And so that's what Mike is doing. He's trying to let his agent do it so that he can get him this crazy record breaking deal. I'm just
Right.
saying, I don't know if that's the right move. But like I said, it all depends on Micah, really. Like,
Yeah.
Micah gonna have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because
Hopefully.
again, David, he don't work for David. David works for him. That's all I can say on that.
Right. No, I definitely agree with everything you said, sis. And like you said, I didn't think it would get to this moment, and especially this close to the season. I mean, I thought maybe we could, get the training camp or even the week before the regular season starts. But with one of the best players in the league, I just didn't think that it would get down to,
Right. I didn't
maybe
think
say
it would get
whatever.
down to this. And I hate this shit because I wish. It's not about taking sides. It's just about. And people are like, well, they didn't do this. The CD was already paid. Dak was already paid. I was like, because CD stayed away from the building
Right.
and did not
Right.
engage in no talks with Jerry ever.
Right.
So the agent already, so the front office already knew if
They
I want
can.
this deal
They
done,
couldn't.
I had to talk to the agent.
Right.
Period.
That part. They couldn't get
Micah,
the CD. Same
Micah,
thing with Dak. Even Dak was like, "Look, I'm gonna let my angel
right?
handle that.
Dak was
They
like,
got
I've
their handle
never
on that. I'm
talked
not even
numbers
worried
with
about that."
Jerry. I've never talked numbers. Like that's what I'm saying. Micah didn't do the
Yeah.
CD and Dak route. Micah
Right.
thought
Right.
that this is my opinion. Micah thought that he was special and that he was
Yeah.
going to what he wanted to do was just like get close with Jerry. That's why,
Exactly.
oh, we in the booth talking, we this, we that, we Jerry, we
At the
went
Super
on private
Bowl.
at the Super Bowl, we went on private car rides and all of
Yeah.
this stuff. So he thought I'ma just become best friends with Jerry.
Right.
Jerry's gonna respect me. Jerry's gonna give me my money. It's gonna be easy. 1, 2, 3. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hold out. I can work out this deal. Me and Jerry buddies. Me and Jerry best friends. And
Yeah.
it was just like you F what's it say? FAFO,
Right.
around and
Right.
found out. I mean that
Yeah.
you should have, and you just saw CD and Dak go through it. So it's like, as a
Right.
young man, Micah, you should have talked to them about this shit.
Yeah.
They just went through it. So you should have talked to them and been like, bro, what's the best path for what should I do? And they would have been able to give you the wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
you
even
didn't.
and even shout out to CD. He said in one of his first pressers, he said something like, going back and forth with the Joneses in the media is not a good idea. And that was like
CD
OTAs
said,
or spring
don't
camp, something like
play
that.
the media game. And see, CD agent is smart because his agent
Right.
said, just stay quiet, just keep working out. I'm gonna get it paid. And
Mhm.
guess what? He got him
Yeah.
paid. But Micah, you did the media tour before you talked to Jerry. Then you talked to Jerry. Then you and Trey doing this United Front, like y'all
Right.
going at the front office. Now you doing trade requests. Now you putting this out and that. It's like, you're not going to win the media game against Jerry Jones. He is
Right.
the media.
Correct.
And
Talk
so I feel
facts.
like Mugoleta has no idea. It's like Mugoleta. Well, he's worked out some deals because I think he's some of the lower people's agent. But I think Mugoleta really thinks that, or maybe Mugoleta just don't care. Because I don't think he cares about Micah. And that's probably what he's doing. Like, bro, F the Cowboys. F the Cowboys. That's probably
Right.
what he's
I
telling
was
him.
gonna
F them.
say, like
F
it's like
them.
you said earlier.
We can get this team to give you this money. F them. That's what he probably telling
Right.
Micah. And Micah's just getting mad because he's taking everything
Right.
personal. And he listened to him. And I'm just like, Micah, Mama Parsons, TP, Daddy Parsons, Sister Parsons. Talk to Micah, please.
Yeah.
Because is this the best path forward for him? Because it seems like they all want to remain Cowboy fans.
Right.
They don't want Micah traded.
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, I don't even know if Micah listens to his family. I feel like he's really just listening to David only. And I don't know if that's a good idea. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll wake up and they'll say Micah Parsons is paid, but I highly doubt it. But anyway, we need to get we've been on here almost 2 hours. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. We really appreciate y'all support. To everybody in the chat. Really great seeing some new people in here. Really appreciate y'all. Sis got it up there. Y'all know, hit that like button, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channels and also donate to our Cash Apps.
Yes, please.
Mine is on the screen. If you could remove, that's our Cash Apps, guys. So please donate to our Cash Apps. Thank you so much. Sis, you have any final words?
Yes. Just a quick note on that. Shout out to Julius once again making the donation. I think within the past week, I forget the exact day, but really appreciate you. Like I just said, you're a very, very loyal follower of our.
You're talking about JV? Yes.
Yeah,
shout out to you, JV boy. Thank you so much.
Steadily donating all the time. You know what I'm saying? That really keeps us encouraged and just really keeps us going.
Right. Thank you so much,
everybody
JV.
who came through as well. All other loyal friends of ours, Angry Cowboys fans. Shout out to you jumping in the chat with us. Really appreciate you. BI Cowboy, Kelvin Hicks. Angie jumping in. Hope you still
Angie, everybody, thank y'all so much. And let me give some shout outs with a Cash App because I missed you, Barry Bidwell. I didn't see that you donated to me July 30th, but thank you so much, Barry. The Lunatic, you donated on August 13th. Thank you so much, the Lunatic. JV, you donated on August 19th. Thank you so much, brother, for donating. And then Sandra Abad donated to me today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody donating to Stargazer Sports. All of y'all money goes straight toward. I'm almost getting close to being able to afford my software. So y'all I'm about $20-$30 away from being able to get that software so I can bring my buttons back into the show, my sound button. So y'all help me out. I appreciate y'all so much.
Yes, facts. Appreciate everybody joining us. Thank you so much for your time. Since I know we ran long, but I really shout out to you.
It was great. We talked some good ball.
It was a great show. Shout out to the Cowboys. Shout out to the NFL. Thank you for the roster drop and thank you for the news. Please, guys, keep your notifications on. We do hope to be back next week. Hopefully, right before the season kicks off, we'll be have a fire show for you guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you, sis, for your time. Thank you for joining us, you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace out, y'all.